Here we have a mess, but we also have a bunch of really nice carbon fiber parts that we got from GRP, which is Greg's Race parts, and they're going to go on that car. So obviously that's a steering wheel trim. This is the parking brake trim, center console. These go on the door pulls, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure how exactly those attach, but these are really the big thing. This is the A-pillar cover. So while it might be kind of hard to see here, this A-pillar cover is very oxidized and the other one is cracked. That seems to be a pretty common thing. And the piano black really just didn't age that well. Like, I think these were very glossy when they were new, but now they're not. So now we've got that, which in hindsight clashes with the gray a little bit, but I think it'll look good once it's all installed. That also motivates me to get carbon mirror caps because for one, the PPF has taken a beating, and for two, you can't have that. And I've got this thing on order, but it's going to take a while. These parts took almost a year to get here, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So the Bad Design made a video on how to get these off, and he did a really good job, but it's just two screws or two nuts here, a nut here that you can get in. It's really awkwardly placed. They're 7mm, and there's a bolt up here somewhere that I have to figure out how I'm going to get to, but I can feel it right there. And then there's like a side of 3M that goes down this side. So I'm going to get on that and then we'll swap it out. I have to take this back off to put the double-sided tape on, but it does look very good and actually fits perfectly. All the bolt holes lined up. It's a little stressful putting it in because you do have to put this end in first, tuck it all the way in here, and then the holes are slotted and you have to slide them onto the studs. Every time you get your windshield changed, which shouldn't be a regular occurrence, but if it happens, these do have to come off, and mine obviously did not survive, and it cracked in multiple places, and it's cold out. I kind of broke the number one rule of working with plastic, but it was the double-sided tape's fault that it broke, but it is what it is. We got that one on. That's all that matters. And we have to transfer the weather stripping for this section. It did peel right off of that one, but I might try to put some kind of extra adhesive on here because I think it's just going to come right off if I don't. So this side's all buttoned up, and that does look way better. It's nice and secure. This is thinner than the original piece. There's a little gap there, but I'm not pressed about that. Same there. Kind of opened that up a little bit, but the bigger thing was the bolts are now, they have cap nuts on them. You could use an open-ended nut and it would be fine, but if you're going to reuse that nut, you need washers. If you're going to go out and buy washers, you might as well just buy regular nuts. But I had to use two to make up the difference in thickness. Not the end of the world, but let's get on to the rest of it. So this guy here I think just pops off. Yeah, so I think I just need to transfer these spring clips onto the new one, even though some of them are stuck in the door panel, and then once I do that I should be good. So I'm going to do that now. I actually just left those little spring clips in there and it went right in. This could definitely fit better, but it's a door handle. This little ridge here kind of bothers me where it's definitely narrower than this one was, but it is what it is. Looks way better, way more modern. It feels way nicer other than that kind of gap, but really it's not bad. I really thought the steering wheel trim would end up being the easiest part, but I was very wrong. And I'm basically about to take the steering wheel off to do this. I'm not sure if I need to. There's conflicting things online, but the airbag is already pretty much out, so I'm just going to finish that off. And we're going to take these Allens out to get the wheel off. And, yeah. So there was no chance of prying that out in the car. It's these little speed nuts that actually hold the faceplate on. You might be able to kind of fight that in the car, but I think it might be easier just to do it this way. I may take these 4 Phillips out and just completely disassemble the wheel, but yeah, we'll see. Obviously that's annoying, but this is also annoying. These are the airbag bolts. You can see that one floating around in there. They're not attached in any way, but they can't come through the hole completely. Like, they're partially blind. This is the most Lotus thing I have ever seen, because getting that back in is gonna suck. It is like the epitome of the weird design quirks that Lotus does. Because, yeah, they have to go back in from the inside, which will be easier with this out, but still, like, what the hell? So, yeah, all of this just to change the faceplate. Nice. So with the way the steering wheel trim was made, there was no way the alignment tabs were going to line up. So I'm just going to use the one at the bottom because that was the only one that seemed to be in the correct spot. I had to grind these off, which I don't love doing. Like working with carbon, especially carbon dust, is super carcinogenic. So make sure you wear your PP if you have to do that. But I'm going to have to use more tape to get all this squared away. Probably just a little more here and a little more down here. But it should be fine, hopefully. So we're out in the sun. You can see this. It looks great. But that was the biggest pain in the ass so far. All I have left to do is this piece, like I said, was broken. And this piece here is just an overlay, but I have a broken tab here, I think. So this pops out anyway, and to get this out, there's 2 screws you have to get out that are right here. So I have a feeling this whole center console is going to have to come apart, which I don't think will be awful, but there's a part of me that wants to explore some shifter modifications while this is off, because I'm going to be there. I don't think I'm going to get like an interkinetic or anything, but if there's an option to upgrade this a little bit and help with feel, I'm going to do it. The only thing I don't like, the fit on the buttonholes is a little tight, at least on this side. This one's fine. That one's a little tight. I've tried to adjust it a little bit, and I can't get it quite right. Fortunately, I didn't reuse the speed nuts because there's really no way to with the carbon faceplate, so I can really heat this up and pull it back off at any point. I didn't want to hit this with a grinder because it's finished carbon, and if you take it off in the wrong places, you're really going to see it, and I didn't want to do that. I scratched this in the process of grinding it last night. That's frustrating too, but it is what it is. The cart already has some GRP carbon stuff that I installed a while back. The silver is timeless, but this had some issues, as you can see. I'm going to take this off and reattach it since we have the supplies out. But there was like some issues on it that wouldn't come off, and yeah. But this fits really well, other than like one little spot right there. This side's perfect. So this piece actually pops right up. It's held on with these little clips, which seems to be the majority of this car. Then this is 2 little Phillips screws, and you can take this out, but this one was broken, which made life easier. And then it looks like the boot is basically stapled on with these little things. So I'm going to pry them off and hopefully switch the boot over to the new one. So I covered this thing in 3M, and I hit it with some adhesion promoter, and it actually stuck, and I'm very surprised. I'm curious what it's going to do in like the summertime once it really gets hot, but it looks really good. Everything is installed. The door pulls are installed. That's installed. We have a full carbon interior now, or at least all of the brushed aluminum is replaced. So I'm super happy. The shift knob and this match, so I don't mind that being different, but if I can find a carbon knob, I might, but even then this won't match. So that's probably going to stay aluminum. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and found it helpful.